Okay, so there's one thing I wanted to clear up, as a lot of people seem to be having issues with the topic and have been talking about it in the thing. It's coming off the back of a lot of very angry people upset about Ben and Callum's dynamic, but a lot of people are starting to question whether Callum is actually gay or not, or whether he's bisexual, or, you know, like just seeing whether his sexuality is more fluid than just being gay. Now let me clear that up straight away. Callum is an openly gay man. Obviously, when he arrived on the show, he eventually got into a relationship with Whitney. But the main issue with Callum and Whitney is it felt like Callum... Obviously, they kind of retroactively, like, changed a bit of the writing for a lot of it. But ultimately, like, Callum was never really the most, like... He was never the most straight man. Let's say that much. He was very clueless, very oafish, very naive, like, I don't know, man, kind of approach to Whitney. And obviously Whitney went along with it and just heard what she wanted to hear and didn't actually tell him any of the things that were actually happening. You know, there was that little bit where he was, like, excited to be a dad, but they did sort of retcon that bit as well. You know, well, maybe not retcon it, but they just went, it's more, you got this cool thing lined up with Ben. And, you know, then we saw this storyline unfold where it turned out that Callum's obviously very closeted. There was a man in the army, I don't remember his name, but it was basically, this all came to light when this guy from the army, who he was basically in a relationship with without actually having like mentioned it or like specifically put a label on it, but you know, there was this bloke in the army that he was best friends with. He died. Callum was struggling, and he goes from there. And obviously Ben Mitchell pursued Callum, and then it went from there, and they got together eventually, and now it's history. Now Callum is an openly gay man and is doing his own stuff. I'm not really too sure where the idea of Callum, I guess obviously because he did spend some time being with Whitney, people may be like, oh yeah, so he's bi. And it's like, nah, immediately after they were talking about this, and they just went, yes, Callum is gay. Callum is an openly gay man. He's very closeted. I personally didn't really enjoy it simply because a lot of the issues with Callum is he's become a babysitter to Ben, and it really just grates on everyone. Even the Ballum stands are kind of like, fucking hell, lads, we really gonna have to deal with this now. But yeah, let's find another one discussing the Callum theory. There we are. Honest question about Callum's orientation. So I made a post where I referred to Callum as being bisexual, and it was downvoted and corrected that he is gay. I didn't watch EE when he and Whitney had their run. I just saw a few episodes on YouTube after the fact. From what I gather, Callum was in a relationship while he was a soldier, then in a relationship with Whitney, then cheats on her before Ben. While Callum was considering Ben, his and Whitney's relationship started to fizzle out and chemistry is lackluster. You can clearly see that Callum and Ben's relationship has lost its spark, so it's not impossible that Callum would consider being with another woman. I think him being monogamous to Ben may be why some posts consider him as gay, but he seems very flippant and a bit of a wild card in my opinion. But simply a lot of people essentially went, you know, everybody's joked that Callum is a baby gay. Very unsure, very basically he struggled with coming to terms with his sexuality, simply because his dad, John Hghway, was an absolute bastard. You know, a toxic masculine fucking drink some bevies, treat your missus right, yeah. You know, proper Brexit geezer type. And you know, but I see a lot of people questioning, because you know, it has been a good amount of time since Ben and Callum have been together now. And a lot of people wouldn't have seen the Whitney stuff, you know, you pick up at different times. It's like me when I talk about Hollyoaks Coronation Street. I've watched a lot of it, but I haven't watched all of it, so I don't really know. So I just thought it would be a good time to clear it up, as Callum has struggled with his sexuality. But, you know, I specifically remember scenes when, you know, when he finally came out and he was joking about it, just like, you're not my type, you know, like all these jokes. But it's very much clear that Callum is a gay man. He just was incredibly closeted. Quite like the Suki situation, but obviously the Callum and Ben stuff ramped up pretty quickly. Obviously he was very stop and start because Ben Mitchell is a very toxic man and does great on everyone. I mean it in like he's very abrasive rather. But yeah, it's just a it's interesting, but it's also quite, you know, like, just to be fully clear, Callum is a gay man in a gay relationship, in a monogamous relationship, and I don't know if he's happy. I don't think anybody's happy being with Ben Mitchell in his current form, who is a complete misery to be around. But ultimately, he is a gay man in a gay relationship and is also a police detective. I do think he's getting axed, though. I do think the character's served its purpose. I think that I couldn't imagine how much they would love to just kill off Callum and just have Ben like lash out for the next 3 years because of it. But there we are. My personal opinions on Ben Mitchell aside, Callum is a gay man. He's not bisexual. He has been with women, but ultimately, you could tell his heart wasn't really into it, you know? But there we are. Thank you for watching. I've been Ash from Watching Walford. Make sure to comment on the channel, subscribe, and like the video, and also follow us on all our social medias in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.